Have you ever sat in a quiet room, looked around, and thought, is this it? Maybe the TV's murmuring in the background, the kettle's just boiled, and outside your window, the world keeps spinning, but inside, it's still. A little too still. Living alone after 70 can feel like walking through a familiar house where the echoes are louder than the laughter. But here's the thing. Quiet doesn't have to mean lonely, and being alone doesn't mean you're finished making beautiful memories. If you're watching this, maybe you felt that quiet creeping in too often lately. Maybe you miss the buzz of conversation, the warm chaos of family dinners, or even the simple joy of someone asking how your day was. That's okay. You're not alone in feeling that way. In fact, many people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond find themselves navigating this new chapter, one that can feel surprisingly empty at times. But here's the good news. Loneliness isn't a life sentence. It's a feeling, not a fact. And like any feeling, it can be changed, shifted, gently turned into something brighter, fuller, more alive. This video is for you. The one who still got stories to tell, laughter to share, and love left to give, even if life feels a little quieter these days. Let's talk about some simple, heartfelt ways to beat loneliness, not just to fill time, but to truly fall in love with life again. And we're not talking about anything overwhelming or complicated, just small steps, a few warm ideas, because even one good moment in a day can light up the rest of it. So let's start with something many of us underestimate. Routine. Not the kind that makes every day feel like a rerun, but the kind that gently carries you forward. When you live alone, it's easy to let the hours slip by without structure. Mornings blend into afternoons, and sometimes you're not even sure what day it is. But a comforting daily rhythm, one that includes things you actually enjoy, can give your days shape, purpose, and even anticipation. Start with your mornings. Don't rush them. Stretch. Put on music you love while you make your tea or coffee. Sit near a window. Let yourself fully enjoy that moment instead of rushing to fill it. This is your time. Later in the day, carve out space for things that stimulate your mind. That might be a crossword puzzle, a documentary, a craft, or a book you've always wanted to read. Give your brain something to play with. It's one of the most powerful antidotes to loneliness. And don't forget movement. I'm not saying you need to power walk for miles, but even gentle stretching or a walk around your garden can lift your mood. Movement is like telling your body, hey, we're still in this game, let's keep going. When you keep your body involved, your spirit often follows. Now let's talk about connection, but in a way that feels natural, not forced. One of the most beautiful things you can do for your own heart is to start conversations, even small ones. Say hello to the person behind you in the grocery line. Compliment someone's scarf. Ask your neighbor how their roses are doing this year. You might be surprised how many people are just waiting for someone to break the ice. If you have access to a local community center, library, or senior group, even if you've never been, consider dropping in. Not everything will be a perfect fit, and that's okay. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for connection. And sometimes the smallest exchanges can lead to the deepest friendships. But it all starts with showing up. And if going out isn't easy, the digital world can be your bridge. Yes, it might feel a bit strange at first, but technology can be an incredible ally. Learning to use Zoom or FaceTime to connect with distant family, joining an online book club, or even following inspiring channels on YouTube. These things bring the world to your fingertips. Don't worry if it takes a bit of practice. Every single one of us had to start somewhere. Ask a grandchild, a neighbor, or even a librarian to help you get started. There's also something powerful about nurturing something outside of yourself. That might mean taking care of a plant, adopting a pet, or even volunteering a few hours a week if you're able. Giving to something or someone else adds richness to your life that can't be measured. Imagine the joy of a little dog waiting at the door for you, or a garden that responds to your touch. These are the kinds of things that keep your days full of life and meaning. One more thing, and it's a bit deeper but worth saying. It's okay to grieve what you've lost. A spouse, close friends, the version of life you used to know. Grief and loneliness often go hand in hand, and pretending otherwise only makes it harder. But acknowledging that pain doesn't mean you're stuck in it. In fact, allowing yourself to feel it is often the first step to healing. And healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means finding a way to move forward with love in your heart. You know, there's something incredibly brave about deciding not to give up on joy. It's easy, as we get older, to fall into the trap of thinking, maybe this is just how it is now. But just because the house is quiet doesn't mean your spirit has to be. Just because the phone doesn't ring as often doesn't mean connection is out of reach. You still have chapters left to write, and some of them, believe it or not, might be the most meaningful ones yet. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when we think about loneliness: creativity. Now, before you say, "I'm not the artistic type," hear me out. Creativity doesn't mean painting a masterpiece or writing a novel, though if you want to, go for it. It simply means letting your imagination come out to play again. It means making things with your hands, your heart, your voice. And the best part? There are no rules. Maybe you start keeping a small journal, not to document every detail of your day, but just to jot down how you're feeling, or a memory that popped into your head, or something beautiful you saw on your morning walk. Maybe you try your hand at poetry, or you dust off the old sewing machine, or you learn how to knit just for the feel of yarn slipping through your fingers. These small acts of creation do something magical. They help you reconnect with yourself. And when you feel more connected to yourself, you begin to feel less alone. Speaking of connection, here's another powerful way to shift the weight of loneliness: reaching out to others who might feel the same. We often assume we're the only ones dealing with this kind of silence, but that's rarely true. All around you, there are people, maybe next door, maybe across town, who are also wondering if anyone sees them. What if you were the one to take the first step? Maybe it's calling an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Maybe it's writing a letter. Yes, a real handwritten letter. Imagine the joy someone might feel receiving that kind of thoughtful surprise in the mail. Or maybe it's inviting someone over for tea. You don't need a spotless house or a perfect meal. You just need a table, 2 chairs, and a little courage. If you're more comfortable with structure, look for volunteer opportunities that bring people together. Local food pantries, hospitals, animal shelters, even schools. Many would welcome an extra pair of hands and a warm smile. You may think you're going to help them, but what you often find is that you're the one who walks away feeling full. Purpose has a way of doing that. It turns quiet days into meaningful ones. Now, let's talk about laughter. Yes, laughter. It might seem silly to bring up when we're discussing loneliness, but humor is one of the best tools we have for lifting the spirit. Watch comedies you used to love. Revisit old sitcoms that make you laugh out loud. Let yourself be a little silly. Play music and dance in your kitchen, even if no one's watching, especially because no one's watching. Joy doesn't need an audience, it just needs permission. And while we're on the subject of joy, don't underestimate the power of nature, whether it's sitting under a tree, walking in a park, or tending to a few potted plants on a windowsill. Being around growing, living things reminds us that we, too, are still growing and living. Nature has a quiet way of saying, "You belong." And sometimes that's exactly what we need to hear. It's also okay to look for new places of belonging. Maybe your old social circles have shifted, people have moved or passed on, or life simply got in the way. That doesn't mean it's too late to form new ones. There are groups for seniors who meet to play cards, walk together, share meals, or just chat. There are church groups, book clubs, even walking groups at the mall. If getting there is tricky, some communities offer transportation for older adults. And if none of those exist nearby, consider starting something yourself. Yes, you can be the one to bring people together. You might be surprised who shows up. Sometimes the first step to building a new community is simply being visible. Sit outside more often. Say hello to the mail carrier. Let the neighbors see your face. That kind of gentle, consistent presence has a way of opening doors. And remember, showing up doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It just means choosing connection over isolation, even in small, quiet ways. There's a certain kind of courage in this phase of life that people don't talk about enough. The courage it takes to keep hoping, to keep reaching, to keep finding beauty. You've already overcome so much. You've weathered storms, lost people you loved, said goodbye to parts of your life that mattered deeply. And yet, here you are, still standing, still open to more. That, in itself, is something to be proud of. No matter what your days look like right now, whether they're full of activity or mostly still, there's always room for one more connection, one more laugh. Sometimes it's the little things that catch us off guard, the quiet clink of a cup in an empty kitchen, the way shadows move across the room in the late afternoon. These moments can stir something deep inside, a sense of longing that's hard to explain. But in those quiet hours when you feel most alone, there's something else that often tries to come through, your own voice. And it's saying, you're still here, you still matter. One of the most powerful ways to reconnect with life is by finding purpose. Not the kind you had when you were raising a family or going to work every day, but a new kind of purpose. Something quieter maybe, but no less meaningful. Purpose is what gives our days direction. It's what gets us out of bed with a little spark in the morning. And the truth is, it can be as simple as taking care of something or someone. Have you ever considered mentoring? You've lived a life full of lessons, full of stories, full of hard-earned wisdom. There are younger people out there who are hungry for that kind of guidance, even if they don't always know how to ask for it. Local schools, community centers, or even online programs often look for older mentors to help guide the next generation. You don't need fancy qualifications, just your lived experience, your patience, your time. And in giving that, you gain something too: connection, value, a sense that what you know still matters. Or maybe your purpose is quieter still. Maybe it's showing up each day and choosing kindness, smiling at strangers, leaving a thoughtful comment on someone's video, sending a birthday card, or donating to a cause that speaks to your heart. These small, intentional acts have a ripple effect you may never fully see, but they change the world in small, beautiful ways. There's also something deeply fulfilling in simply giving yourself permission to enjoy your own company. So many of us were taught that being alone was something to avoid, but there's a quiet freedom in learning to like your own presence. Take yourself out for a little treat. Make a special meal just for you. Play your favorite songs and sing along like no one's listening, because they aren't. And that's the gift. You don't need an audience to enjoy your life. You just need you. You might be surprised how quickly loneliness can soften when you treat yourself like someone worth spending time with. Read the kind of books that pull you in. Watch movies that make you feel something. Talk to yourself gently. Ask, "What do I need today?" And then actually listen to the answer. And when those tough days roll around, as they do for all of us, have something ready to anchor you. Maybe it's a playlist of your favorite uplifting songs. Maybe it's a box of letters or photos that remind you of people who love you. Maybe it's a comforting routine you turn to when the world feels heavy. These things won't erase the loneliness, but they can help carry you through it, one heartbeat at a time. It's also okay to ask for help. In fact, it's more than okay. It's wise. You don't have to carry the weight of your feelings alone. Talking to a counselor, a pastor, or even a trusted friend can make all the difference. Sometimes just saying the words out loud, "I've been feeling lonely," is the beginning of healing. There's no shame in needing connection. That's not weakness, that's being human. And finally, don't forget to celebrate the small victories. Did you call someone today? Did you make yourself laugh? Did you try something new or smile at a stranger or simply choose to show up for yourself? That counts. That matters. Every act of courage, no matter how small, is a step forward. You've already come such a long way in life. You've seen decades of change, challenge, love, loss, growth. And the beautiful thing, you're still evolving, still learning, still becoming. There is so much life left to live, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's version of it. It just has to feel like yours. So if you've been feeling like your world has gotten smaller, remember, you can open it back up, not all at once, but gently, steadily, by choosing connection, creativity, movement, kindness, and purpose again and again. And here's something else to hold on to. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. Your presence matters, your voice matters, and your story is not over. Every day you wake up is another page waiting to be written, and it's never too late to write something beautiful. If this video has spoken to you, I'd love to hear from you. What helps you feel more connected, more alive, more hopeful? Share it in the comments. You never know. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you found even one idea here that felt helpful, consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that supports and celebrates life after 70. We're building a community here, one that honors the beauty, wisdom, and strength of these later years. Here's to you, to your heart, your resilience,